tutorial. Today I'm going to talk about making your own really simple, clean, easy brand logo. As you can see here, I'm going to actually move this over. I've actually chosen brands as examples for not necessarily completely recognizable brands, but brands that I actually want to boost, not for any kind of money or anything, but because I like their little causes or like what they do. So I didn't use the typical ones that you tend to see a lot of. But there are three different types here, as you can see. The first is just based on text, right? It's based on editing out and reforming text. That's the Fenty Beauty brand, by the way. The second is a little more elaborate, and you can see that there was actual a lot of work and detail put into this one, and that's for Busboys and Poets. It is a restaurant in Washington, D.C. that I have patronized before, and they are wonderful. Profits go to teachers and educators, so I also promote that as well. And then there's American Red Cross, which I actually think is one of the most recognizable brands in the world, if not the most recognizable. That ubiquitous plus symbol. We know that usually means hospital or aid, or in this case, the Red Cross, American Red Cross. So I just wanted to give you a few examples here of just some successful brands that you can see, the different techniques that you can use. Well, basically just to give you an idea of different types of designs different design directions that you can go into when you are creating your own brand. So I started here with this blank palette, and I'm thinking I'm going to just go ahead and make up a cupcake brand. Okay. So now a simple way to do that would be to go online and maybe get a Creative Commons, cupcake and place it here on this palette. But you can also run into some trouble with that with branding. You don't know if necessarily that it is Creative Commons, number one, and number two, if it is Creative Commons, then you know that particular image is going to be repeated over and over and over again in other places. So if you want it to be completely unique, I would suggest, and you don't necessarily have the design know-how of a real expert, I would highly suggest just using basic shapes and combining them or editing them to make the thing that you want. Like, for example, I said I wanted to create a cupcake design, correct? So I'm going to use this here. I'm going to start with this. Okay. All right. Just like that. That's simple, right? Now, I brought this thing in here because it has sort of a vaguely cupcakey shape to it, but I'm going to edit it so that it's a little bit more unique and a little bit more, uh, uh, yeah, very much more unique to the brand I'm creating here. Okay, so I start with this, and I think I'm going to color the interior yellow. Hold on a second. I'm going to color the interior yellow, or sort of that cupcake paper color, so a light yellow. And I'm going to get rid of that outline, that border color, because remember I told you I'm not a big fan of those, except in certain special cases, and this is not one of those special cases. Okay, so like I said, I just want the vaguely sort of cupcakey cup shape here. Now what I'm going to do is layer other shapes on top to create the sort of icing cap uh, design that I really want here. Now I could go with this cloud, but I think I want to go a little bit simpler. So I'm going to just go with a circle or an oval, and then just sort of layer those one on top of one another to create the icing. Okay. All right. So I think I'm going to go with pink icing. So I'm going to go here, make it very appetizing looking. And once again, getting rid of that border color. Right. All right. And once again, you saw that snap, that little grid line there that helps you to line up your shapes in the way that you want them to be lined up. So that's one. Now I'm going to add another circle. So what I'm going to do is just copy this circle that I already have here. Okay. Okay. And then I'm just going to make it smaller. Okay. Okay. You saw that grid? I think that creates a nice balance. Okay. Okay then. I may want to do one more, and I think I'm going to lower this circle a little bit. Okay. Lower that circle, and I may add one more because that was a little high. Yeah, I'm going to add one more. Copy. Paste. And then I'm just going to make it a little smaller. Okay. All right. Okay, so that's sort of a vaguely cupcakey sort of shape. But you know what? I think it's a little bit too pointy. So what I'm going to do is spread this out a little because I want the icing to sort of sit on top here in a way that sort of looks a little bit more like icing. Okay. And I'm going to lower this top shape a little more. And I actually think I like this without the third little bump. I think it looks a little more, like I said, I want a vaguely cupcakey shape. The simpler, the better. So you kind of get an impression of a cupcake here. So that's perfect for me. So now I'm going to go ahead and add my little made up company name. I'm going to use not TextBox, but WordArt to do that. Okay, so let me see. I'm going to call it Cute Cakes. Cute Cups. How about that? Cute Cups. All right, that's our brand. Now, all I have to do now, like I said, very quick brand logo. I'm going to bring Cute Cups down. I'm going to get rid of this fill color, the border color. Because again, I don't like borders. And what I'm going to do is highlight this entire shape so that they all stay together. And then move it to the middle. All right, that's exactly the middle of our little palette here. Now, Cute Cups, I can put right on top, or I can put it just below. And I think it looks better just below. And honestly, this right here is just fine. Like, it's clean. It's very simple. There's not very much to really criticize in terms of color. I mean, the pastels sort of go together. It gives you that sort of idea of it being cute. That's why you use the pastel color. But I mean, I think I'm going to change it up just a little bit and make it a little more elegant. Remember, this is a simple design, something that's easy for anyone to do and create for themselves. All right, so I'm going to look for a font that's a little cutesy. I think I like Cherry Swash. I'm going to use Cherry Swash. And you know what? I don't like that. It's a little bit too embellished. So I'm going to change the Cherry Swash and go with something else. Remember I told you that clean fonts, you can't go wrong with them? And here, right here, you could see that that is absolutely the case. Okay, but I do want something sort of puffy. A sans serif font that looks a little puffy and a little cutesy. That kind of gives that element there. So I'm going to scroll down until I find something that fits my needs. Little puffy. Okay, I think I like Passion One. So I'm going to go with that. Yep, here we go. That's what I'm talking about. Sort of puffy, sort of cute, right? Now, if I want to make the design a little bit more blendy. And like I've noticed that one of the logo trends that we're seeing a lot of now is that they're all the same color. Every element in it is the same color to kind of make it look a little more unified, and also to make the logo easier to manipulate. You can place the brand on more things, on T-shirts and on signs and things like that. And it'll look, that if it's all one color, it'll look good regardless. So what I'm going to do is change these colors to all matte. So you see what I'm talking about, okay? To match this blue here. Hold on. So you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say that they sort of all have that even all in one color. You get the vague impression and idea of what the design is. See? Cute cups. See how that's a brand. And I'm done. So you see how easy it is to make your own brand. And I'm going to keep this transparent. And all I would have to do is save this. And if I had a restaurant called Cute Cups, and that's your cupcake brand, this works fine. Remember, less is more. This brand is easily, you can add more things to it, but as a base design, this is fine. And it took me like 5 minutes or so. So really just remember that less is more. There are different types of designs, but if you don't have the design skills, simpler is better. One unifying color is better. In this case, I wanted a cutesy color, so I went with a pastel, this blue pastel here. And this is a brand. So I hope you learned something from this really simple tutorial. If you want to go ahead and make your own logo for yourself, for something else, I may do another tutorial that fits maybe a more, I would say, high-end brand like a Chanel or excuse me, like a Fenty Beauty. Then I would do that a little bit later. But for now, as you can see, this logo is fine. All I would have to do is save this in the SVG format, and I could use this on any number of items if I were selling cupcakes. Thank you so much for listening. And if you like what I just did, please subscribe or even email me if you would like me to design your logo or your book cover. Thank you.